Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Circle podcast. I want to remember for people who don't know what is the Circle. We are a venture ecosystem partnering with the blog here in Dubai. We are gathering startups, investors, mentors, and ecosystem partner to deliver outcomes for the companies we decided to work with. All the companies we work with has, according to us, a lot of potential of growth and impact in the region. Today, we are very happy for this first episode to receive Boris Kozlov, founder and CEO of AC3D. Hi, Boris. How are you?
Hi, Hedi. How are you doing?
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, Boris. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. So I would love to start to know a little bit about your personal journey. What's your background? So who you are and what led you to build AC3D?
Yes, for sure. And actually, my background, my professional journey started with the university. I'm not like a technical person by education. I made my higher education in global company management and marketing. And even I had my practice in the university in a global public relations agency. It was a fun job. So like I was doing Formula One, coordinating it with the brands. But then I realized that I don't like selling air to people, basically manipulating people's minds so to say, in order to deliver some brand message. And I had the feeling that I need to go more technical, something more material. And I ended up, like my first job was actually on the metallurgical plant, where I was responsible for global sales. And I was actually selling metal powders, which is probably one of the most high-tech products of the metallurgical industry. And back in the days, these powders were delivered to Europe for the first, maybe one of the first metal 3D printers. So actually, this is how I first connected to 3D printing and additive manufacturing, being a supplier. And also that's where I learned the scientific part of things, of business, because in order to produce high-tech products, you need to be really, and actually also in order to sell it, you need to be really inside the technical things. And that's what got me really excited. So I spent a few years there. Then there was a small detour. Actually, I was responsible for a multi-billion turnover of selling high-tech medical compounds, radiopharmaceuticals to basically 50 countries of the world. And that's where I learned sort of like how to do business globally, how to deal with complex certification. But that was still like a job, and my dream was to start my journey as an entrepreneur, and that's how I decided to quit my very, very good job, very well paid. But then I joined a startup which was reselling industrial 3D printers in the Eastern Europe, and we became actually very successful. And my job was to integrate those big industrial additive manufacturing systems, mainly metal, ceramic, plastics, to the different processes of different enterprises. And that was quite an exciting journey. We were quite successful. And that's how I came to 3D printing, basically.
And 3D printing, so it was the retail machines. It was like to create small spare parts or things like that. You were not in the concrete yet, or you were.
Exactly. That was not concrete. That was other materials, mainly metal, plastics, and other industrial materials. But they were not retail small 3D printers, small desktop ones, but mostly they were, those big, sophisticated industrial machines, at least $500,000 each, which were to create like very, very serious parts. Would it be from medicine or aerospace?
Yeah.
So kind of advanced additive manufacturing.
Okay, and why did you decide to focus on construction?
Yeah, well,
yourself?
actually, being a successful reseller was nice, but also I had an appetite to come back to my global journey because I had this experience of interacting with companies all over the world. And so that's when I was thinking maybe I need to create my own technology, and it should be a 3D printer. And then I started to think, like, what should it be? And, competing even in metal 3D printing, which is a very solid industry these days, was similar to maybe trying to compete with BMW right now in the car manufacturing. So there were already the industry leaders. The technology was already very mature, maybe 20 years mature. And so...
20 years, crazy.
Yeah.
It's great. No, it's crazy because not many people are speaking about 3D printing anymore. We had the big hype 15 years ago. But then, it's crazy to see that this technology is so old, so we say. So.
Well, exactly. They're coming from mid-80s with a US guy who has invented the first stereolithography 3D printer, which is basically plastic 3D printing as we know it. And then he created this biggest company, 3D Systems, and we were reseller actually of 3D systems in Eastern Europe. But yes, this technology already had a way to go back then.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Okay, and why establish AC3D in the UAE?
Yeah, well, again, after having this idea of creating my own 3D printing technology, I was thinking, where should I go? And I was also observing this emerging back then, maybe in 2021, construction 3D printing market. So there were still a few players. There was no definitive leader back then. And I was thinking that also construction is kind of like an enormous industry, which is true. It's the biggest industry in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's 14 trillions total, and only low-rise housing is 2.5.
Yeah. It is one of the biggest and one of the oldest, but less digitized.
This is very, very accurate. Yeah. And so I was thinking that, yes, I want to be in that race, and I had some appetite of, just creating some big objects with 3D printing. And so I decided that, yes, my journey will be connected with construction 3D printing. And that's how I decided that my startup will follow that technology. And then how did I land in UAE? So basically our first strategy was to go to the US market. And I spent maybe half a year there exploring the venture capital environment and then also the construction environment. But what we have observed after, bootstrapping maybe $500,000 and then fundraising our first $1 million of pre-seed investment, I realized that we will quickly spend or even burn all this money in the US because basically everything is so expensive. And then actually one of our first business angels, he suggested that probably UAE should be the target market because UAE has a very strong legal system which supports startups. And then also construction out of oil and gas is probably the largest thing here in the UAE. And also the government was really supportive to the industry because they even have issued some kind of official decree, which was to stimulate the industry to build up to 25% of low-rise houses with 3D printing by 2030. Yeah. So all in all, we decided that, yes, this is the place we're going to start our activities. And so right now we have like a small holding structure where the holding company is in the US and then the operating company is here in the UAE.
Okay, great. Perfect.
Okay, and I would love to know what is the biggest lesson you've learned building a deep tech company?
Well, that's a great question, Audrey. And I think I have my very distinct answer is that I was expecting everything to happen so much faster than it did. I remember back in 2021, we were designing those financial models and we were thinking like how many tens of buildings we're going to create in 1, 2, 3 years after even starting. But then, when you are developing the technology that is combining hardware, software, robotics, additive manufacturing, that just takes time to develop. So we ended up finalizing our technology maybe after almost 3 years. So yeah, measuring time is the biggest lesson I have learned so far.
Yeah, because deep tech or technology in general is showing to the people that you can go fast and scale everything very rapidly. But when you combine the technology with the physicality of the things, which is like real estate, brick and mortar, this is also showing you like it takes time. And I think this is also what we have in TheCircle. It's like all the companies working with us is like they want to be fast because of tech, because of AI. But anything that is designed to last takes time. And especially with you, when you have several like ownership, you have the technology, you have the expertise, you have the you have the vision, as you said, robotics, technology, and so on. This is very true.
Yeah, you're right. And I think people often underestimate how hard it can be to build a deep tech company.
That's so true. And even, if I would know how hard it would be back then, I would think twice even if I should start this company.
But like all the entrepreneurs would say, like the time, they say, if I knew if it was that hard, I would never sign for it. But this is the beauty also of the adventure. You don't know what you don't know.
Yes, absolutely. Like after all the suffering, it's at least great to have that many things already done and completed. So already there is no way back, I guess.
So this is clearly leading now to what is AC3D, and so what is AC3D and what problem are you solving clearly on the market right now?
Yeah, well, AC3D stands for Automated Construction 3D. So basically we're building a vertically integrated construction automation technology based on 3D printing. So we are the producers of proprietary 3D printers. We hold a bunch of patents. So currently, this is our main product, which we produce locally in the UAE.
Okay.
And actually, I think we're the only one who is producing that kind of equipment in the UAE. And we have all the necessary things around 3D printers. So it's like print heads, it's materials, it's software, even portfolio of designs and building systems. So we're trying to be like a very comprehensive provider of this technology. But also in our plans is to go beyond 3D printing, because basically 3D printing is the first step of construction automation, which allows you to automate the wall system. And obviously the next step is to automate a higher percentage of the building envelope, because 3D printing, if you take the so-called gray box, basically the walls, the roof, the foundation, then it is mainly responsible for maybe 20% of the whole building. And we want definitely to go beyond that. So our mission is to automate up to 80% of the building envelope.
Okay, and what do you think you need automation as much in the construction?
Why construction needs automation?
Yeah.
Because like you rightly said, actually being the biggest industry in the world, it is still by far the least automated. If you compare it with, with aerospace, with automotive industry, medicine, you name it, there is already like very well automated processes. You have robotic arms, you have CNC mills, you have like a bunch of technologies that help to produce like without humans. And in construction, while yes, we have digital design tools, beam and other kinds of things, yet we still use the manual power, the brick and mortar approach to create the buildings.
Yeah.
And I think there is a reason why construction is behind other fields. It's because it's very conservative, and it is effectively harder to adopt in construction, because you have such a variable environment. Every construction site is a very variable environment where it's hard basically to implement automation. So that's why probably construction is behind, but it doesn't mean that automation will not be impactful. It will be dramatically impactful in construction.
Yeah, I think it can be massive, because yes, every industry went through automation, and as you said, construction is the last. But when they will start, it will be massive. And I would love to also know. We talked about that, but how is construction 3D printing work exactly? How?
Well, that's a great question, because actually a bunch of customers, investors, they always ask this question: how even, not so many people even know how the basic plastic printer works. But the good answer is that it's very similar to the very smallest desktop plastic printer. It's just of size of a building. So we are extruding or depositing concrete layer by layer, according to a certain program, which is called G-code. So basically, it's the trajectory, how the printer moves and how it creates the object layer by layer. But because of this arrangement, any kind of 3D printing in general gives much greater flexibility in terms of the shapes or internal structures of what you're printing. And this is one of the main advantages also in construction. So you can think of like a sophisticated part of an airplane with thermal cooling channels, which would never be created with standard technology like milling or casting. And similar thing is happening in construction, because yes, you can create a very, very unusual shape of the building when you need it, but also it comes to the internal structure of the walls, because we can create tailored cavities for whatever we need. Would it be MEPs, or would it be insulation, or reinforcement? So we have a lot of flexibility in terms of both visual appeal and the inside of the building, the technical structure of the building.
And I think this is very interesting, because I think what will really unlock the power of 3D printing concrete is the AI. Because I think AI is able to design, to think, and 3D printing concrete to execute and produce. And I think the both combined together, I think this is that was the missing part of very accelerating the adoption of 3D printing concrete. It was AI. As you said, if today, stop me if I am wrong, but you can think about a building built in spiral, and there is nothing that is stopping the technology to just print it, because this is just editing layer by layer. So I think we can use a lot of lost spaces that we had on lands. Probably, sometimes we have like some dead spaces. We say that we cannot build anything there, but I think it's not for now, but maybe in 10 years, you will have like small machines that you can build your small thing, because you want to use that space, and because AI is unlocking everything. This is very, very, very exciting. When I discovered that, I discovered your company and so on, it blew my mind, like how it cannot be that popular right now. So we are very, very happy to have you in the circle and trying to promote you and helping you to grow, because we are a very big believer of this technology.
Yeah, I think it will change the future of constructions totally.
Yeah, we are working on that, and that's our mission. And actually, you are very spot on regarding the AI. That's exactly what we're working on right now, because AI, it allows actually to reduce even more the manual work of an operator. Because, for example, currently we need just basically 2-3 people to operate a machine. But we want to reduce it to like one operator operating multiple machines. And that's where AI comes into play, because it can control the quality of printing. It can control multiple robots, because yes, it's a great question how construction automation looks like in the future. And probably it's the combination of different technologies, different robots. Would it be humanoid robots, or would it be like a multi-tool gantry robot which will just do all the things on top of the building? So probably these are different ways the construction automation journey will go, but 100% the goal is to create conscious machines which will basically almost make the decisions on the quality control, on safety, and they will be only observed by the operator while the whole thing will be automated. So that's where things are going, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. And I imagine that you must have some competitors in the market. So what makes you different from other players?
That's a very popular question. And I think we have a bunch of, let's say, local differentiations and then global advantages. So first of all, we are the only producer in the UAE. And I would say also, as far as I'm aware, we are maybe the most established producer in the whole GCC region.
Okay.
And I think for the customers here, probably it's one of the most important factors, because we had a privilege to work with such big names as Dubai Municipality, Damak, Aldar, DP World, and one of the main reasons they have been thinking of is that we're locally available. We know the local building codes. We build the machines here, so this gives us certainly the advantage, and the same for GCC. But I think we're also very competitive on the global scale. So first of all, we are both the producer of the machines, and also we are growing as a specialized contractor. So to every customer, we can provide a more comprehensive support, not only by just producing and supplying the machine, but also helping to actually deliver the projects like with a hands-on approach, because basically we are doing this journey for ourselves, and that also helps us to improve our 3D printers, our machines.
Yeah.
But also, I think we are probably the owners of the biggest model lineup in the world. So because we have, after designing the first printer, we kind of had like an engine in our heads how to design them, how to tailor make them, and so right now we have 5 printer models. Would it be like on-site printers, off-site printers, robotic arms, even a smaller printer for universities, because they share similar parts, similar approaches. So we understood that, it's better to adjust your printers to a certain task. And then we also have, I would say, very strong speed and surface quality and accuracy, which is basically very, very important, obviously, for the quality of the prints, because we're speaking about buildings, not even like a plastic cup or whatever. So that is very important. And yes, also, as I said, we're now working on implementing the AI control agent for our printers. I think we are mostly unique in this. And last but not least is the increase of automation. So we are working on the concept where we not only printing the walls, but we can change the tools automatically, and then we can start with automatically building the foundation, even placing the horizontal and vertical rebars, then doing the automatic painting, installing the elements of the roof, of the ceiling. So
wow, you can do that right now?
Not yet. That's actually our main motto for fundraising right now, because we have fully designed this approach and we're looking forward to produce the first prototype of this advanced machine. So yeah, I think it's just around the corner for us.
I think this is how scalability kicks in, and how you can start to have like separated value and revenue stream inside your own business as a technology owner, as a service provider, as you said, several layers of automation and intelligence that can come on the top of the other, that you can separate and resell, or or start to work with others. For example, you can work with other companies that are doing 3D printing concrete, but do not have that finishing aspect or automation that you are. So I think it's great to start to design several kind of technology for several kind of needs, because you can also start to serve your competition at some point. And this is what is bringing the company frictionless. And this is very interesting.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And you see what UAE market, which lesson it gave us. So we were starting with a strong belief that 3D printing is only about on-site 3D printing, when like a big 3D printer prints the entire building on-site on top of the foundation. But then we quickly realized that while it's true for some markets, like for example, US is mostly single-story, single-family homes, which are not so big, and then yes, you can print them in the entire building on site. But here in the UAE, most of the buildings are actually big. Would it be villas or infrastructure elements? They are so big that we came to understanding that we need to adopt to that. And so currently we have come up with a patent of a modular 3D printing approach. You can think of it as a 3D mobile precast factory. And right now we have established the first factory of this sort. And so we're moving the printing facility next to the construction site, where we are mass producing the printing blocks, and then we assemble them into bigger buildings. So that's how we have no limitation in size. And like a small thing which I can carefully share is that we are now preparing to print a 7,000 square meters building, which only is possible with that approach.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I think microfactory is very interesting. So that is leading us a bit on what kind of technology portfolio you have in the company. So you have your microfactory. I think this is a game changer because, as you say, what is great with 3D printing is like you do not have a physical inventory, you have a digital inventory, and you print on demand. That can save like the ships on the sea when they need to replace spare parts. So I think spare part business is also a big, massive market. But so what kind of technology portfolio you have right now in AC3D?
Yeah, so I guess as of today, we kind of have a full stack of needed technologies. This would include 3D printers. As I said, we have designed 5 printer models, and then we have several types of print heads for different situations. Would it be like small architectural elements, or would it be buildings where you need like a bigger throughput? And we also have things like special rotating print head with screeds when you want to eliminate those concrete layers and you want the surface to be more smooth, which is actually in big demand for 3D printing. And then we have our own proprietary material formula, which actually is a more sustainable type of material than normal concrete. And of course, we have our software, which enables us to control our printers and then to prepare the models for printing. So I guess I can say that we have a pretty comprehensive technology stack. As of today, we have 4 patents protecting all those things that I have mentioned. But
issued in the US?
Yes, they are mostly US patents, but we're planning also to extend them to the GCC countries.
Yeah.
But we're not stopping there, so more patents hopefully are coming soon.
Yeah.
Okay. And talking about GCC, why made in UAE matters?
Well, that is a great question because it really matters a lot.
Yeah.
I think we kind of try to create a synergy with the mission of UAE government, which is to create more high-tech technologies, which would be spread globally. And I think that like being a local producer, this helps. We try to help to build the UAE image of the country that produces high-tech stuff. And basically, in this year, we have participated in the Make It in the Emirates exhibition, and our startup actually won the startup competition. So I think that it means that UAE government kind of values what we're doing, and we feel honestly a lot of support. And it also turned out to be that UAE is a very good and efficient place where you can produce something and then sell overseas because of the whole infrastructure, the access to the global markets, to the technologies, to the parts is great right now. Even though it has become a little bit more challenging lately. But overall, I never expected it to be that efficient, and I still think it's the perfect place to have the high-tech production of robotic equipment exactly here.
Yeah, as I say, it's like for the past 30 years, the UAE spent time to build. And now the next 30 years for me, it's expansion. And expansion will come from made in UAE. Now what they really want, they imported a lot of things, a lot of knowledge, a lot of technology, a lot of brands here to establish and to be the best in the country. But now they are developing their industry in order to create made in UAE. And I think all the people, all the companies that are betting on the new technologies to improve existing industries, but at the same time betting on the made in UAE stamp, will be the winner because they will be naturally supported by the appetite of expansion of the local government that wants. This is a business. The UAE is a business. So they are thinking global and they are thinking partnering and expanding globally, and they will obviously bring with them their brands, the people, and especially in real estate. Real estate is one of the biggest economic engine of the country, building buildings. So if you are able to accelerate, to reduce the cost, to unlock possibilities, and you are made in UAE, this is a no-brainer for anyone and everyone.
Yes, Adi, that's a very good point, because right now we are actually at the place in time where we need to make a strategic choice.
Yep.
Because our original plan was always to eventually enter the US market, which is still probably one of the most appealing for the technology because of the housing crisis they have, because of the probably one of the highest prices for the real estate, because of the shortage of construction labor. So still US is it has probably the highest demand of construction and automation. But now we have actually like a more complex choice, because UAE appeared to be such a great environment for construction innovations. Probably not only in the residential sector, but also in the infrastructure sector. Because again, like you said, UAE is building around high-tech industries, and it all needs infrastructure. So we've been working with DP World. We're now starting to work with EGA, Emirates Global Aluminum, which also, those companies, they need buildings, basically.
Of course.
And so I definitely think that we will not stop developing in the UAE, while also probably, yes, we need to go to the US eventually, but GCC market is probably one of the most well established for actually any kind of hardware startup, because they are building here and everything is so high tech and advanced, and the environment, I would say that probably is getting better and better every year.
Okay, and I would love to know what projects are already being delivered now.
Yes, so I can say that we're still a young startup.
Yes.
So we have finished developing the technology basically by end of 2024. So we did several projects. One was for Damak. It was a pilot villa. And then we did a bunch of gatehouses for Al Dar in Abu Dhabi. Also, we are very proud of that project. And they're now coming back to us for more projects, for more buildings. So that was a successful pilot project. And then right now we're doing a bunch of infrastructural buildings with DP World, which we're really proud of. And so actually the first building with them hopefully will be completed within next several months. We have, I would say, we have a very good growth trajectory. So the plan is actually to go from like one building in 1 year, then we went to 3 buildings. Hopefully this year it will be 5 buildings, and then I think we need to grow exponentially, because the technology really unfolds itself at scale. So my dream is to eventually start building maybe a first 3D printed community in the GCC, which is still not the case, because in the US they have completed a bunch of communities. UAE is still yet to be there.
The leader globally is Icon, no?
Yes, that's correct. I would say 2 companies are the leaders, Icon from US and Cobot from Denmark.
Yeah, in Europe.
These are already very big companies. They have good progress. They're basically paving the way for the industry, but still
they do the dirty job for you. That's right. You learn from their mistake.
You can call it like that. But what's exciting actually is that still even them combined, they are still a tiny drop in the ocean of construction.
Of course.
Because so many houses are built globally, and they are far, far, far below 1% of that. So again, there is even no such thing as competition, because we are competing with traditional construction, not with each other.
Of course, yes. And can you tell me which industries benefit the most?
Well, I can say that, of course, this should be the residential building.
Yeah.
Then it would be the commercial buildings and all sorts of industrial infrastructure. But also maybe my personal focus is more now on the buildings. But another big scope for construction 3D printing is actually different sophisticated concrete parts. And I think maybe the best example is artificial coral reefs, because 3D printing is the best way to create those, unconventional shapes with different angles. And I think that this sector is growing exponentially in the world. But also even boundary walls, because if you just drive around UAE, you can see that there is a lot of boundary walls everywhere, and sometimes you can see a 10 kilometers boundary walls. So that's where we have appetite, and that's where we have experience also, because we have completed a project in that direction. But also the landscaping, I think, also is benefiting directly, because in landscape elements, would it be, I don't know, planters, benches, other things, you can create really outstanding designs using 3D printing.
Yeah. It's for me, it's game changing. You will change the world of construction with that, and I would love to know, because I don't have numbers in mind, but how much faster and most cost effective it is to have that automated construction.
That is probably one of the main questions we are being asked by investors and customers. And I can say that, to be honest, to extract the efficiency from 3D printing, there has to be scale. So usually the expectation from a client is to get all the benefits, to make it much faster and cheaper from the very first project. But actually, it is like a very complex question how you extract this efficiency, and it also depends on the region. So it's much easier to be cost efficient, for example, in the US, just because the construction is so much more expensive there, and manual labor, which we're reducing, there it is much more expensive than, for example, in the UAE, where actually the manual labor is abundant and it's very affordable. So in the UAE, we are actually strongly competing with the traditional construction, which is also very, very effective here. And we need to accumulate those and extract those benefits from going deeper into the building structure, into understanding how we can make the building more sustainable, more energy efficient. And so all in all, I think we're speaking about like maybe 5 to 10% efficiency in terms of cost, which we can extract right now. But for some applications where we could manage to substitute, for example, the steel structures with reinforced concrete structures, basically that's where we have achieved bigger cost efficiencies than 10%. So yeah, this answer is really dependent on the details. But in terms of speed, yes, for the wall system, construction 3D printing is significantly faster, I would say. Also because the machine does the work, so you have the repeatability. You don't have to control your workers. You can be sure that the first building and the building 100 will be created at same pace, at same quality, and basically.
And this is massive. This is massive.
This is
to have
huge.
that kind of insurance, because this is the main thing in construction. People being sure that the work is delivered as it should be. This is massive. This is totally crazy. Only that, even if it was not cost efficient and time efficient, only that is a huge upside.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think at the beginning of the industry, there was this narrative created that 3D printing, it can be like 2 times cheaper, 4 times faster. And right now, I think the industry is suffering a bit from that narrative because it was very bold and mostly inaccurate. Because yes, we first of all we need to speak not about the building as a whole thing, but we're currently automating the wall system. So when you think of a wall system, yes, that's where we are faster, and with some conditions we can be cheaper. But for sure, we are already competitive, even in the very dense UAE market where traditional building systems are very efficient.
Yeah.
And the opportunity here, and I think the correct narrative for 3D printing is that it's just the first step in construction automation. And while traditional methods, they already have no potential for further improvement, for cutting the costs or increasing the speeds, 3D printing is just getting started. If you think of it as the foundation of construction automation.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's probably the biggest argument why somebody, would it be a developer or a contractor, would think of or would consider using that technology.
And what, in terms of restriction, you have in terms of heights, or in terms of what do you have as restriction? For example, if I want to build a building of 50 floors, can we do that with 3D printing right now or not?
Probably we could do it in the future. So right now the technology is effectively focusing on low-rise buildings. Technically, there is definitely the potential even to create high-rise buildings with the technology. And even we were thinking that using our modular technology, because if you look at a high-rise building, it consists of basically columns, walls, and ceiling slabs, right? I mean, I'm simplifying it, but that's what you could produce as elements and then deliver to the certain floor and then assemble, instead of using formworks, pouring concrete, rebars, workers. So there is the potential. It's just not the focus of the industry is not yet there. And even I think that some startup is promoting the idea, which is in everybody's minds, that the industry could adopt the regular cranes for additive manufacturing. But there are a lot of constraints also with the rigidity of such a big structure. So all in all, I think that sizes of the buildings, they are growing. So, for example, Cobot, the company from Denmark, I think they're completing now a bunch of big schools in Qatar with total 10,000 square meters for all of the buildings, and each of them is really big. So the sizes are growing. It's just probably they're growing not to the direction of the height so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And just one question: is it true that, in simple words, you can build one small house or warehouse in 2 days? Just.
I think yes and no.
Yeah.
So for a small house, yes, it's possible to print. I think a 100 square meters pilot villa for the Mac, it was 48 hours of active printing.
Okay.
But still, we did it in several consecutive shifts, so maybe 5 shifts. But if the goal would be to make it in 3 days and we would work in 2 shifts, then yes, that would be possible. So yeah, I think the speed overall will be growing faster and faster.
Oh,
Yeah, this is good to put that kind of numbers in the head of the people, because I think that will also bring a lot of solution in terms of, I speak much more about financing, but the capital velocity you can have, or where the technology and the background and the experience that you will have, the technology that will grow, will give more possibility. You will have the possibility to put the money on the table on the Monday, and if all the bodies that are involved in the construction, finishing, painting, and so on, you could think about entering in your house 10 days later. And this is changing the way how you can approach the real estate investment first, because as I said, capital velocity changed dramatically when you are seeing like a gated community to be built in 3 years, 4 years. Now you could think about less than 6 months. So that's changing totally the way we approach real estate. I think that could also give a hit on the value of real estate, because the less rare it becomes, the more the value of the real estate itself will start to go down. So there is plenty of things in terms of capital side that are very interesting to try to anticipate.
Yeah, I could not agree more because, yes, we should not think, I believe, in the scale of just several buildings. We should think at scale of like hundreds of buildings, whole communities, and that's where the technology can unfold itself. I think we are yet not there to create such big cuts in the speed of construction because still there is finishing. There are those things that cannot allow to build the entire building in 10 days. But if you can, again, think of it at scale, even cutting like 30% of time at scale of 100 units and finishing the whole community, this already creates a very dramatic impact on the whole, cash flow logic for developers.
Yeah.
So that's probably the framework we should be targeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is huge. So it is faster. It is more cost effective, and you already talked a little bit about that. What about sustainability? The benefits of it and the reduction in material waste. Obviously, I think it must be massive also.
Yes, I think that sustainability is kind of one of the biggest topics nowadays. I think that humanity actually is yet to create a very solid demand for sustainability because I believe that currently the industry still is not willing to pay extra dollars for extra sustainability. So this is yet to mature, but definitely technology, construction automation, and 3D printing in particular, it gives a huge opportunity for increasing the sustainability because even us, we are promoting our material formula based on geopolymer. This is a cementless type of concrete. So basically, why normal cement or regular concrete is not sustainable because I think 8% of the global CO2 emissions are coming from cement production because cement is the most commonly used material in the world. Yeah. And yes, when you produce it, you create CO2. So logically, when you have no cement in your concrete, you have a different compound, then you're much more sustainable. But again, currently, this comes at a price premium and the market is yet to start buying sustainability. Also, for example, construction 3D printing helps you to get rid of formworks because formworks, especially if they're wooden, they become waste. And also, like in general, normal construction creates a lot of waste, and that's where 3D printing can answer this question of how to reduce that amount. And also the material consumption. So in our wall system, for example, we use up to 80% less of concrete than a normal, let's say, block work or concrete wall. So again, this helps. And finally, in terms of energy efficiency, because it's important from the consumption of energy from air conditioning or heating of the buildings. So when your building system is very energy efficient, that's again when you're helping sustainability, and that's another advantage of 3D printing. So there is a lot of potential for increasing sustainability in construction automation.
Okay, and what's next for you now for AC3D? What are the next steps?
Yes, I'm thinking every day basically about our next steps. But currently, like I said, the big choice we are to make soon is when to enter the US market.
Yes.
Also, we are currently in the middle of fundraising. Mm-hmm. And while we have been supported by really big players like one of the biggest ready-mix manufacturers of UAE called Transgulf, and also another big player has invested into us, the Orasea Capital Fund, which is one of the biggest and active venture capital firms in UAE. Still, we are yet to close our current $3 million investment round. So this is probably the next thing we need to complete. As well, as the projects for DB World, because they are currently our main strategic focus. And these things combined, they can unfold for us, I believe, like the next stage, which should be entering new markets and also coming from, 1 to 3 to 5 to hopefully 10, 20, and 100 buildings. So that's how we want to scale.
Okay, great.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. So last question. I would love to know, for example, if we meet again in 5 years, what would need to happen for you to say that AC3D has genuinely transformed the construction industry?
Okay, well, first of all, I still would need to preserve the energy I'm having right now with all the complexity of the journey, but I hope I will. But also, we need to basically complete the major steps which we are thinking of now. Would it be increasing the automation percentage and basically adding new robotic solutions to our technology, or implementing the AI and again increasing the productivity? Also, we need to finally solve the question of materials efficiency.
Yeah.
So how do they perform? How much do they cost? Because that's a potential how to make the technology more cost effective. And we need to be successful in fundraising, because this obviously is what driving the startups. And I believe right now we are mature enough to fundraise bigger amounts of money, which can become game changers for us. So I think those factors combined, pretty much we will be there creating not, if not a disruption, then like a huge impact on construction.
Yeah, and I think for a company of your ambition, of your efficiency and problem-solving approach in terms of reality, I think fundraising won't be a problem, and is not a problem accessing capital, because capital is here.
Yes.
The thing is finding the balance between accessing capital, but also maybe thinking about having smart money onboarded. Like, they invest, but at the same time, they can unlock strategic markets, they can unlock strategic access at the same time, because we know that a lot of powerful people are here. If you are able to explain and be more public, and this is what we will help you to do also with TheCircle, closing the fundraising rounds, making more noise around your company and showing to the people what problem you are solving. I think there is a real balance between eager to raise to accelerate the growth, but at the same time, from who you raise and what will unlock for you. Because I think for the possibility and the size of your business, this is very important to start to think about strategic partner on the top of just cash, So there is plenty of things, challenges that can come. Those are not the challenges of putting out the company from the ground. This is much more how to scale smart in a smart way. But yes, this is very, very excited. We are very proud to have you in TheCircle.
Yes, and we are sure you have a bright future. Yeah.
Thank you actually for believing in me, and I can only say that I'm so happy to be part of that ecosystem, which is created by you around Circle, and I'm happy to be one of your portfolio startups. And I believe that together with such entities as Circle, the whole startup ecosystem in UAE can only benefit. So thanks for doing that, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if people want to contact you, how they can reach out to the company or to you directly?
Well, I have my LinkedIn. We have our website. So yeah, just search for Boris Kozlov at LinkedIn, and then that's the easiest way. And also you can see all our progress over there.
Yeah, we will put all the useful links in the description of the podcast, so like that people can have access directly.
That's perfect.
Thank you very much, Boris, for participating to this episode of the TheCircle podcast.
Thank you very much, yes.
And
Thank you.
Wish you great success, and we will obviously make some updates on the way on our social, on your social, of how fundraising and opening new markets and everything is going forward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye.